All right, what's up, guys? This is Chris with Recon Athletics. So I'm going to show a few scenarios in which grabbing the head is going to get you into a lot of trouble and why you shouldn't do it when you're doing MMA grappling. So the first one is a standing position. So however I enter here, a lot of times when we crash into each other, maybe I'm throwing, right, and I reach, I grab the head, and I'm holding on to it. A lot of people think they're either going to drag you down or throw you. But if he's a decent grappler, all he really has to do is sit his hips down, and he's going to duck out the backside with back exposure, right? Maybe he initiates grappling and he tries to come in on me, and I react by grabbing. Again, a shoulder shrug, and he's to the back. Of course, if you're good enough at anything, you can get away with it, and if you have that hip throw setup, but again, the back exposure is a very high risk to reward. So I wouldn't recommend going over the head and holding onto the head unless you have a phenomenal judo game. All right, so the next one is going to be on the ground. A lot of people hold on to the head from the bottom position. They think they're either going to get a choke or prevent posturing. I guess anything's possible, but generally you're going to get yourself choked. Let's say Braden took me down and we're in side control. A lot of people are going to use this to try and hook over the head. All he needs to do to get a Von Flue choke is gable his hands. Now my hand is stuck. My shoulder's starting to press into my neck. Once he starts to shoulder pressure and tripod, I'm going to start going out. So it's a bad idea to hold on to the head from that bottom position. I'll give you guys a caveat, is that if Braden's on top of me, if I'm able to frame and get onto my side, he can no longer choke me as long as I can keep this back. All right. Again, exceptions to everything, but generally I can prevent this. So I'd like to be onto my side. The other reason I would go onto my side is to start framing and do a post and building a base into a front headlock, and then maybe I go for a cow catcher and I take a top position myself. But again, if you're holding on to that head, you should be on your side. Don't be flat on your back. You're going to get Von Flued if you're a beginner 99% of the time. Just ask Braden. Here's one more scenario. By the way, don't use walls for training. This is only because the cage is full. Planned my logistics poorly, so we're doing what we can with what we can. But don't ever train against hard walls for takedowns. You're going to smack your head on the back. But anyway, Braden's going to shoot a double on me against the wall. A lot of people go over the head right here. Sometimes they might be looking for a guillotine. Please don't try and guillotine from here. Dustin Poirier's like 0-10 on them, and if he can't do it, you're probably not going to do it as a beginner. All he needs to do to complete this takedown right now is pull my legs out from under me, and I'm going to the ground, okay? Unless you have a world-class guillotine game, you're probably not going to finish a guillotine there. He's going to start wailing on you. What I want to do instead is, if he shoots in here, instead of going over the head, I immediately want to get this crossface. And I want to try and make him look away and up from me. It's going to make it really hard for him to pull my legs in. Not impossible, but really good. And you want to do this fast, and you want to do it hard, and you want to break this off. But if you don't at least start with that, you're probably going to wind up getting taken down. One more time. He shoots in. Don't go over the head. Go in front of it, and then start driving up with the crossface. Once you're here, you get enough space, you can also pummel your own underhook and start rocking him over and looking for your own takedowns. All right, so here's a fourth one. If he shoots on me like a traditional double, even if you grab this and try and lock up the standing guillotine, these are really hard to complete. All he has to do, he's going to push my hips away, tuck and look to the inside of my chest, and he's already circling around to my back. Of course, you can try and out-grapple that, but again, you got yourself into hot water. So again, unless you're a world-class guillotine specialist, it's going to be really hard to complete this. If there's a big grappling skill disparity between you and your opponent, maybe. Of course, you have like 3 finishes in competition. The guillotines are the bane of my existence as a coach, because you keep giving up a dominant position. Because what happens if he pops out of the guillotine, he shoots, I go for the guillotine, pops out, now I'm on my back. Even if I lock it up and threaten it, even a few seconds, he's just going to tripod, stall this out, maybe reach over my shoulder and start crushing me. Right? Even if he's not choking me, he's still stalling this out. And then before you know it, my arm's burnt out. If you're a guillotine specialist, you're really good at it, sure. With the gloves and everything, it can be really hard to finish a guillotine. So if you're going for the guillotine from guard in MMA, be ready to sweep. Don't just tunnel vision on that guillotine. It can get you in trouble, because once his head pops out, it's just going to be ground and pound. So again, if I have a guillotine locked up, Okay, we're here. Maybe I got the high elbow and everything. If he starts tripoding, if he just drops this hip to the floor, he's going to start working his way out. All right. So don't just hang on for dear life, because look, I'm right back in the Von Flue position. And if you're 50-50 on whether or not you're going to finish it, but you have an 80% chance of getting a sweep, I would go with the sweep. He starts tripoding, right? Transition. Now, this is a position where I can probably hang on to the head. And if I lose it, I'm in mount. Okay, so another position where holding the head might get you in trouble. Let's say he got me down, maybe he did throw me or trip me or something, and he's trying to hold me here, right? Sometimes guys will let go and try and strike you, and that's actually better because he has less of an anchor. So all I have to do is marry my hands together, make him look away, walk, frame, and bring him over, and now I'm in a top position. Sure, a scramble might ensue, but at least I'm not on the bottom. If you don't think that technique works, try it. So another option is if I really can't get him back, but I get enough space, I can hook onto the head and transition directly to an armbar. If I can't get him back, I can't get my leg over, but I can hook the leg here. Sometimes I should be able to frame, bring him over the top. Then again, I have back exposure, or one of my favorites is the twister. Cancel your chiropractic appointment. It's going to get you in trouble if you're grappling with someone who's even at like an intermediate level. So if you're doing amateur MMA, there's a chance that even if it's just a blue belt, maybe in trouble if you're holding on to the head. Even being aware of those things might help you control a little bit. Just make sure that if they start taking your back, it's probably better to let go of the head and transition to top side control or something like that. Even top turtle if they get to their knees and elbows. You can sit with me for the end of the video. You signed a non-disclosure, right? Gym liability contract at the end. It says we have the right to use your photos and videos as we please. So check OnlyFans. Okay, guys. I hope that was helpful. Times you may want to consider not holding on to the head because they're going to get you into trouble. To refine your technique and become really good at certain things from there, sure, there's exceptions to the rules, but it's one of the most common reasons I see people get into hot waters, holding on to the head when they really shouldn't be. Thanks to Braden for helping me. I was feeling a little bit too buff and handsome, so I had to bring this guy in. If you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe.